Hey guys, today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to do some horror history. Strap in, this is going to be a bit of a longer video. I am going to do this in multiple different stages. These are going to be kind of standalone little things, and then I'm going to put them all together in one ginormous horror iceberg that will hopefully not crush us all. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I'm in screen. It's a pleasure to see you. I am the Duke of Alex, and without further ado, let's get to it. We're going to be discussing today found footage. What is found footage? Now, this is going to be the condensed version again. There was going to be an extraordinarily big one coming soon. But in a nutshell, I'm going to hit some pointers, then I'm going to talk about the movies. Found footage has some very basic characteristics or elements which make something found footage versus not found footage. The raw aesthetic of it. The camera is shaky. It is usually a handheld of some sort, and you are seeing through the eyes of the cameraman, so to speak, as he is coming into contact with the situation. It's not finely placed. You won't see actors staged appropriately. The shaky camera is kind of a grainy footage look that they're going for. It's a first person perspective because, again, it is the camera. You have a diegetic camera. The presence of the camera or camcorder is explained within the context of the story, and usually they feel the need to keep bringing this up. Put that camera down. Stop recording me. Don't just stand there and record. Put it, and then the guy puts the camera down and helps, And it's got unresolved mysteries. That's not, it doesn't have to be unresolved, personally, but that's, kind of the context, the crux of the description. The evolution of this genre, the early experiments, we have Cannibal Holocaust in 1980. I do not believe Cannibal Holocaust is the first found footage film. However, it's probably the most well known. I'm still researching to see if anything occurred before 1980, but 1980 is pretty far back. And Cannibal Holocaust it's a rough film. It's controversial. There's animal cruelty happening inside of it. It's not a good film. I'll go out on a limb and just say that. It's not particularly scary or terrifying. It kind of results more in shock value to do things, but a lot of low budget movies have to resort to that. You then have a bit of an evolution. You have The Last Broadcast, 1998. That one is very violent, to the point where when I was doing research on it, I was starting to get warning signs. Then we have the Blair Witch phenomenon. And Blair Witch is really where a lot of individuals, I think, are going to... That is, for a lot of people, the inception, if you will, of found footage. And that was 1999, which is actually relatively recent when it comes to these genres of horror film. Then we have Paranormal Activity and beyond, because Paranormal Activity changes everything. I mean, the Blair Witch changes everything. Paranormal Activity truly changes everything. And then we have recent innovations like Host and things like that, utilizing Zoom calls, and I want to say there's one called Chronicle, but that one is in 2012, which is still very new. But Chronicle's not necessarily a horror, if you will, but it's found footage and is solidly within that. And there are parts of it which can be considered horror. As we continue on, what is the found footage formula, if you will? We have heightened realism. The documentary style, the mockumentary style of found footage is well documented. And I don't mean that in a pun, but I mean that the concept of having a documentary, it's what The Last Broadcast was built around. It is what the Blair Witch was built around. The people in the Chronicle want to, document what is occurring. It's the Cannibal Holocaust. They're documenting their trip. These things are almost baked in. That diegetic reasoning for having the camera there is, of course, one of the reasons that they continue to put it forward. It has a psychological impact because you have found this footage. You are seeing something which truly happened. I mean, the Blair Witch tricked everyone with missing posters and a website and the whole 9 yards. It was very well done. I will go out on a limb here and say the first found footage is perhaps a radio broadcast called War of the Worlds. I think that one might truly be the first found footage, but it's not found footage. It is a real time phenomenon that occurs and it is being reported on in real time. Well, would you consider a live stream event of a horror narrative that is currently happening to be found footage? Of course you would. You'd never question that. That's an amazing concept for found footage. I'm shocked it hasn't been done before. The fact that, I mean, imagine having an audience constantly and concurrently talking to and engaging with the actors in a horror movie. Text Kinsey.
What do you want to say?
Hey man, we should do a live stream horror movie found footage style where we put it on Twitch or something and we can have individuals actively engaging with the horror as it unfolds. I'm currently making a YouTube video. Just wanted to text you this idea because I think it's amazing. Send.
Done.
I mean, that idea is good enough. I'm just going to put it out there in the ether. So that's a phenomenal concept. Now we have viewer participation. This one's, it's not as participation as you can get with a live stream, if you will. But back to War of the Worlds, that is, quote unquote, the live stream, the radio broadcast, because the individuals, I mean, it was happening in real time. He was reading out the script in real time. People were reacting to it. My grandmother listened to that thing as a child. She remembered that night. She remembered her adopted father taking a shotgun and sitting on his front porch because the aliens were gonna come. Who came that night? It was a police officer to tell him it was fake. And the guy was making the rounds because everyone was freaked out. They were calling the police. That's insane to contemplate. And I have that story in my bloodline, in my history with my grandmother. So, viewer participation, you can get into these films. And then you have the low budget, high impact formula. It's amazing how found footage has found its footing, its niche in the idea that anyone who can afford a camcorder can create a movie that goes out there and makes bukudols of money, and in a very good way. Now we're going to go a bit beyond the basics on this. The found footage, it's branched out into various subgenres over time. We have monster movies such as Cloverfield. We have paranormal history or supernatural horror such as Paranormal Activities. And then we have, what is this right here? Science fiction such as Europa Report, but I haven't checked out the Europa Report, so if you have, do let me know. I need to check that one out. We have some meta commentary, which, they can comment on things such as voyeurism and the nature of reality itself. And then we have ethics considerations. I like this one particularly because you can look at things like, if you have ever heard of, it's called Savage Land, where they have the prisoners run through pretty much a death town. It's very interesting, and it makes you think, and found footage has that ability. I love horror because horror's ability to be a metaphor for multiple different things. Zombies for consumerism, vampires for wealthy individuals literally sucking the blood out of the poor. Beautiful. It's wonderful. Frankenstein for monsters, misunderstood individuals, maybe even a stand-in for either racism or genetic predispositions and judgments. I myself am blind. I would be considered a monster in some cultures of yesteryear, such as the Roman culture. So we have the early examples. Now we're going to get into the movies themselves. So stay with me. I'm going to call out the movies and I'm going to discuss. We have Cannibal Holocaust in 1980. I am not going to go deep into each one of these movies, and this is not yet a comprehensive list. I'm still gathering movies that are going to fill in the gaps, and I intend to do a video on each one of these in the future and then build all the videos together. So please stick with the channel over a long term. And now is probably a good time to say like and subscribe if you're digging this. I like being here. I hope you like being here, and let's continue. We have Cannibal Holocaust in 1980, perhaps the first, but as I've already argued, this isn't just exclusively about films. This is going to be the building of a documentary about horror itself and the history of horror. So the true first one would probably be War of the Worlds, and I'll cover old time radio horror at some point. But Cannibal Holocaust is the earliest so far film I have found highly controversial. They have this one scene specifically where they got an actress from a local tribe and they tied her up and they promised that they were going to pay her. And so she agreed to that and she agreed to be tied up. But during the filming, you can see just how terrified she is because they didn't have a very good interpreter. There's no consideration or even knowledge if she truly understood what she was agreeing to have done to her. And that's terrifying. That's truly horrifying. So, Cannibal Holocaust, it's messed up. I've watched a documentary on it. I've never watched the movie. I don't think I want to be honest with you. It's like the Poughkeepsie tapes. We're going to talk about that one too. I don't see the need to dive into the Poughkeepsie tapes. I'm golden. We have The Last Broadcast, 1998. Now, this one was conceived, and a lot of people said Blair Witch took a lot of nodes or notions from this movie. And in reality, I believe Blair Witch was conceived of before this one was released. So it was already in production before they could have known about The Last Broadcast. You're always going to have people out there, conspiracy theory, because The Last Broadcast has a lot to do with individuals going into the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Awesome name for anything, looking for the Jersey Devil, and murders occur. The Blair Witch has individuals going into, I believe, well, I have no idea where they are in the Blair Witch, which that is the next one we will discuss. The Blair Witch Project, 1999. 3 filmmakers go into, let's see, they disappear into the woods. Wow, is it going to tell me where the woods are? Nope, haven't got that far in my research. I will, though, 100%. And then we have the big hitter. So the Blair Witch Project is a heavy hitter, and we're going to have a lot of copycats right after that. But then in 2007, we have 2 movies that are going to greatly diverge this genre. On one hand, we have Paranormal Activity. 2007, you know it, you love it. It is the heavy hitter, the Mike Tyson of the found footage world. I mean, it has, what, 6 sequels? And it will probably have more. I mean, it's an amazing story, very well done, extraordinary for the budget. It was one of those combinations of technology was coming into its own at a time where consumer level technology was being more accessible, and you just glomp those together with a beautiful but very clean, very, how do I put it, simple concept. The first movie is simple and so effective. And I still think about that movie now. It gives me goosebumps because it truly still terrifies me. And I hope it still terrifies you. Paranormal Activity is just a terrifying movie. Very well done. Then we have REC, Record, 2007. This one takes place, it's a reporter in a Spanish news reporter, but I don't know which country. I believe this is out of Argentina, but I will, again, have to double check that. And so it's entirely in Spanish. There isn't a dubbed version, there's a subtitled version, but there was a remake in America called Quarantine, and it is essentially storyline beat for beat the same movie, and they're both really good. So I would highly suggest them. Then we have in 2008 the second major heavy hitter, which is Cloverfield. And Cloverfield, I mean, a monster attacks New York City. It's simply not simply done. The graphics of it are amazing, but the concept is so well done and conceived of, and the fact that the individual with the camera is recording over footage previously done. So Cloverfield isn't just a monster movie, it's at its heart a love story. And that's very cool. It's amazing that they are utilizing. I would squarely put Cloverfield as a horror romance. A lot of them have romantic elements, but Cloverfield's main drive, and if you've seen it, you know, is about getting back to her, going to her, and it's the way it ends is very well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, movie on its way about that one, or video, I should say. Then we have the notable found footage films from then on. We have REC 2 in 2009. It's where a SWAT team invades the building that they went into in the original record movie. Now, there was a Quarantine 2 completely divergent from REC. So it's REC 1, Quarantine, REC 2, Quarantine 2 all the way over there somewhere. Wow, throw it away. Because Record 2 takes the zombie preference of the original Record and just adds in a level of demonic possession. That's like, I didn't realize I was watching an exorcism movie. I thought I was watching a Dawn of the Dead movie. No, no, no. You're watching an exorcism movie. It just turns it on its head. Very, very well done. They're all very well done. I'll just say that right now. If there's a movie that isn't well done, I'll tell you about it. Then we have Paranormal Activity 2 in 2010. I like Paranormal Activity 2. I do. A lot of people don't enjoy it as much. I thought it was Paranormal Activity 1 with more cameras. And that's all I want. Really, whenever you have something as good, I mean, look, I love vanilla ice cream. Okay? I don't need you to add cookies to the vanilla ice cream. But then all of a sudden you say, well, this is vanilla bean ice cream. This is vanilla ice cream with an extra kick of vanilla. I'm on board. I love vanilla. You say, this is chocolate ice cream. But then we did extra chocolate. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's amazing. Give me something I like and then give me extra of that thing. That's how you do a sequel. That's what I like in my sequels. Terminator 2. This is the Terminator with more Terminator. Whoa. Thank you. How are you going to put more Terminator in it? We're going to do 2 Terminators. And you know what? That T-800, we got a T-1000 now. What? Yes. So, that's how you do a sequel. Paranormal Activity 2, they did it. 2010. Then we have Troll Hunter. Troll Hunter, really cool, actually. If you've never seen Troll Hunter, I'd suggest it. It's a good one. It's a foreign film. You're gonna have a lot of subtitles, but it's just a group of students follow mysterious hunter who tracks trolls in Norway. Golden. Then we have The Last Exorcism, 2010. 2010 was a solid year for found footage films. Past that, we have Grave Encounters. I've never seen Grave Encounters, and I'm gonna go watch it tonight. That's my promise to you. I'm looking forward to that, but that's 2011. Past that, we have VHS, and this is the inception of the VHS series, of which there are many VHS series. I'll be in just a bit. Oh, what do you need? Okay. That's fine. And then we have Apollo 18, which came out in 2011. I haven't seen that one either. It's very interesting because that one's going to be in space. I'm really looking forward to how they did that. Chronicle is another 2012 movie. That one is, as mentioned before, about the superheroes. Then we have The Bay. I just watched this. It was awesome. it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. If you've ever read the horror book The Troop, I think The Bay might be for you. So if you like The Troop, you're going to like The Bay. If you like The Troop, The Bay is going to be a little less impactful because this came out in 2012. The Troop came out in 2017. I'm sure the guy who wrote The Troop read The Bay, but they're very good. Then we have Devil's Pass, 2013. I have never checked this one out before. Oh, this is the Dyatlov Pass incident. That's my Russian name. If you've never heard of that incident, a bunch of hikers got into the Dyatlov Pass, and in the middle of the night they died because of, we don't know why. They said the official report was an avalanche, but uh, there are many documentaries about it, and you can listen to them and read about them. But the scariest part is how certain individuals had other individuals' clothes on. Certain individuals were found without clothes on. Certain individuals had burns on them. One individual had such horrific traumatic damage done to their skull that they would not have been able to move or walk to where they had gotten. And there's no other way they would have gotten there if they had not walked themselves. They found the tracks, and it's fascinating. Just one individual was found with a piece of their face in their mouth. What? How? What? How? What? How? Whenever you have a what, how, back to back like that, you have to start asking questions. What happened here? Then we have Afflicted, 2013. That one's really good. Two friends go on a trip around the world. One friend slowly becomes something different. Watch it. It's golden. As Above, So Below. I've seen it. Not a huge fan of that one as much, but it is really interesting and well done. A bunch of individuals explore the catacombs under Paris and perhaps find hell. Isn't that intriguing? We have Creep. A videographer answers a strange Craigslist ad. Enough said. Strange Craigslist ad. The name of it's Creep. Godspeed to you if you want to watch it. The Visit. I love The Visit. 2015. Sundowning. So good. Watch it. It's very good. And it explains the camera in a really interesting way because they're kids with a camera. Of course, they're going to record everything, and things start getting very weird, and it's really good. I know it's a bit cheesy, but maybe I'm looking at it with rose tinted glasses. I watched this in theaters. I really enjoyed it. Then we have Hell House LLC, another 2015. And you're seeing that a lot of these are rather newer. They're not by any means the kind of films that came out in the 1990s or even the early 2000s. They needed the flip camcorders. They needed the Sony handhelds that were less than $200 a pop, less than $800, or the $2,000 professional grade cameras were necessary. In 2015, we have Hell House LLC. That is perhaps one of the best haunted house found footage films ever, and probably the best haunted house film that is about an actual haunted house attraction. So Hell House LLC, solid. Then we have, just stay with me, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum 2018. It's a bunch of YouTubers exploring a supposedly haunted asylum in South Korea. Hope I said that correctly. Not seen that? Seems interesting. It's got YouTubers, and that's the evolution of this series. Then we have Host in 2020. A group of friends hold a seance via Zoom. Ooh. Horrible results. Incantation 2022. A Taiwanese horror film that uses found footage and interactive elements to draw the audience in. And we have Dreadstream. A lot of individuals have said Dreadstream is perhaps one of their favorites. So Dreadstream's another one that I have to check out. It's 2022. And of course, a disgraced internet personality. Are you seeing a theme? Another one that I thoroughly enjoyed from 2024 is Milk and Cereal. It's on YouTube and it's only 1 hour long, but it's good. Really good. Like, shockingly good. I'd highly suggest it. Let me see if I have any more on my list so far, but these are. Nope, that is it for the found footage genre. I'm going to jump in a little bit later. I'm going to add to this list. I'm going to flesh out the list over time. But if you like this format, do let me know in the comments. I am going to be doing a lot of these videos where I am essentially writing probably the most comprehensive book on horror ever collected. And I am putting that out there because I don't intend to not add to this book for the rest of my natural life. I'm blind. I don't have a lot of vision left. I adore horror and always have from a very young age. And I don't know why that is, but I cracked my first Evil Ernie comic book when I was 7 years old, and that's probably far too young for Evil Ernie. But I was at the flea market. I bought a whole big old box of comics for $5. It was my $5, and I was happy to spend it. I got home and I found an original first Evil Ernie, that black and white. I mean, it was essentially like Spider Man, Batman, and then a whole bunch of Evil Ernies. And that box of comics kind of lived under my bed for many years till I moved here to Florida. And so, for a young man in Alabama, I was reading a lot of gruesome stuff. I mean, I had the Ultra Death, Evil Ernie story arc, basically burned into my mind. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to Brian Paluto. You've had an effect on my life for better or worse. And as always, until I see you guys again, it's good to be seen. Bye, y'all.